We started our lives as printers, believe it or not, before people started to take their images and have them move. And when we noticed back in around 2007, 2008 that people were taking their static imagery and starting to show moving imagery, we got into the digital signage space. And then we didn't want to forego our path as printers, and we tried to marriage the two, to meld the two. How could we continue to print a piece but also use digital technology and digital content? So when you open that up and you were to mail that to your clients, you open it up and it just starts to talk to you the moment that you...
A very simple piece. It's just inexpensive.
We'll talk to you about that later.
A very, very inexpensive and a very, very impactful piece. Can be very compelling. Everyone today is trying to get everyone's attention. How do you get someone's undivided attention? Everyone's sending emails. Everybody is dialing the phone. This is kind of a unique way to kind of get your message out in front of somebody, knowing they're going to hear it and see it, and hopefully share it. And this is just one of the many, many things that we've developed to try to promote and assist our clients in being able to get their branding message and they're out there to the folks they want to reach. Our company, Rick, who you just got introduced, my name is Eddie, and we're part of Panasonic now, and very different than what people think Panasonic is. Everyone thinks of TVs and consumer products. We actually are not very involved in consumer products. We are very much into B2B. We're a solutions part of Panasonic, and our focus has been on a lot in retail. We do a lot in real estate, and we've been really fortunate in the types of projects that we've gotten a chance to work on. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how technology plays in what you guys are trying to do. Today's world, getting people into the space is important, but once they're in the space, what are you showing? How are you going to be a little bit more compelling? And one of the biggest challenges that have been thrown our way is, how do you expedite the process? How do you speed the process from the time a prospective tenant comes in to look at a space to the time they actually sign a lease or buy a piece of property? How can you expedite that? And one of the answers is, yes. Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you, Rick.
That's your challenge.
That's my challenge, exactly. So we really were looking for ways to kind of speed that process and assist our clients in that vein. So one of the main things that we've been involved with, we're helping our clients build that marketing suite, build that sales office to be the best it could be. A lot of people using static imagery or edge-lit plexi or Duratran images, and they show renderings, and that's kind of the way they've showed real estate for many, many years. The challenge to us was actually from CBRE. They wanted to speed the leasing process at 685 3rd Avenue. And they really wanted to do something extremely unique. So we helped them create what we called a magic wall. This was the ability to have a prospective tenant come into 685 3rd to the marketing suite and be able to show anything in the entire building. So they would actually show what we do.
Yeah, I'm happy. Got it?
So
okay,
can we turn the volume up a little?
it's playing.
Okay. So obviously 685 3rd Avenue, hopefully I'll just talk up. 685 3rd Avenue, you would actually come into the space. These are all the things that you would see, all the kind of static images that you would see at retail. Fantastic. Okay, thank you. So this is 9 screens tiled together, and you had the ability to actually come in and interactively. So you would come up to the screens, you'd actually be able to look at all availabilities within that building, and then slowly but surely, let's say someone wants to look at the 19th floor, you'd actually touch the floor would come up, and then you could actually build your floor plan in real time. So you would ask, how many employees do you have? How many conference rooms do you need? How many outer offices versus interior cubicles. Try to get as much information from the prospective tenant as you could, and then in real time you could actually build the space. So instead of just walking to a gutted floor or raw space, you're now walking onto that 19th floor with a printout of what that could look like. Really helped expedite the process. People, instead of just walking in, looking at space, coming back, bringing in someone to render it, or an architect, or this gave them the ability to really kind of plan out their space a little better than they could.
And if this is a beautiful installation, and it's a wow factor, and it's the option of seeing this in a beautiful outfitted office versus going to a raw space with your client where there's no heat. So but the key point that we want to get across here is the caliber of the content that you are using is key. Yeah. So you can have the most incredible technology. If the content that you create does not effectively tell the story in a beautiful, uplifting, elevated way, where it is not only serving to help you to expedite the sale, but it concurrently is elevating your brand and making a statement about your brand and the sophistication of your company, or anything that you want to communicate about your product, then you have failed. So it's not just about great technology, it's about what goes up on that technology. That is key.
Content is king.
I'm sorry.
Does it cost it?
Does it cost? Well, here's the great thing about that. I used to be in the fashion business, and I used to say to all my clients that anyone can be Prada. It's taste level, okay? So you can tell the story in a simple way without incurring a lot of costs. Just do it tastefully. And what I mean by everyone's version of taste is different. So some brands are down and dirty, so that you want to come off on that down and dirty level, because that's what you're all about. And the key part about that is you take that technology once it's completed, and you're able to repurpose it across all your marketing platforms. So on your social media, on all of your printed collateral,
your website,
your outdoor advertising outside your office. And everything should be, and all the communication that you make to your clients or to anybody, everything should be of a piece and look the same and be consistent.
That continuity across all those mediums is important. We find that developing, into your question, is this an expensive proposition to develop content? Today's world has gotten a lot less expensive. Developing video, doing editing, motion graphics, animation, all the things that are relevant to making great content, those prices have come way down. And the ability to do it is become a lot simpler.
Now, this next location here, this is slightly different in that we're talking about, instead of going into a sales office, we're talking about walking into a lobby and showing someone the building from that perspective. Set up whereby you walk into the building, I think this is 140 Broadway, and you're able to tell the story of that building, the environment, the neighborhood, in a very elevated way. And it's all via a handheld, so the broker actually is able to control the content, can stop and start. There's audio involved as well, but in there, so you're showing the building, you're showing some of the neighborhoods, the fact that families can live there, that you can have your bike, and this is in a lobby space, which is unexpected, and telling the story of the building from the moment that you walk in.
What was unique about this is the people showing the space actually could use a tablet or an iPad to be able to drive the experience. So you could actually pull up custom imagery, you could tailor your presentation to who you're meeting with. And having that ability to customize a presentation, I think is important. Everyone, of course, try to be all things to all people, but imagine if you could really drill down to specific elements and specific content that are meaningful to somebody that you're actually walking the space with. The floor graphics are just a way, you know how much difficulty people have visualizing spatial things. So this was a really inexpensive way to be able to take something at scale, be able to print it on, you know, a floor graphic material, and be able to actually adhese that floor graphic material in the space. So when people walk it, they know if you have a, you know, a row of cubicles, where does it start, where does it end, you know, how much space does it take, and they get a better feel for what their space might look like utilizing these elements.
Now, if you look in the far back of that particular space, you'll see that. That is actually monitors going up that column. And the cool thing about that is by using content that we designed to be vertical, it gives the impression of import, it gives the impression of height, it gives the impression of being serious and big, and these are the monitors right on a tower. So it's very arresting when you walk into an area of this open space and you have this incredible content that tells the story. Now, obviously, this would eventually be developed.
And what you'll see in a lot of the stuff that we're producing, and a lot of the things that you'll see in these examples, we try to make it big. In this industry, size matters, and we definitely have to be able to use sizable images that are very overpowering.
The beautiful thing is you could build it as high as you want, okay? The key is that you don't want it to be so high that you can't see it, but I mean, we just did the Consumer Electronics Show. We built a LED board that was probably, I don't know, about 75 feet high. You know, you walk into baseball stadiums and you have those gigantic boards now, they're all the way to the sky. You know?
Interior, this is floor to ceiling.
Right.
I mean, this is probably about 18 feet, would you say, Rick?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get the point.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay, so now that's commercial real estate. Okay, so now we talk about homes. Okay, selling people homes, where they live, where their family is going to be brought up, all the things that it's a completely different mindset. Now, what's so difficult, and I think it's the same in commercial, correct me if I'm wrong, but people these days come into the sales center knowing more than you know. You know, everything is so accessible on the internet. You know, I was telling Eddie, my wife's a broker in Westchester for Houlihan Lawrence, and you know, the people can take virtual tours of homes anywhere in the world from their phone. So what's happening is, you know, they're so jaded and they think they know everything, and you know, you're just a conduit to see the place, you know, which we know brokers are important and they make things happen, right? So if you're going to work for selling homes and you're dealing with residential and you get a client into your space, what can you do to wow them when they are so jaundiced at this point? So I don't know if everyone's familiar with Artemis. They make, I think they're taking most of Harlem now and they're gentrifying it. They're a developer. And this particular location is called Circa. It's at 110th and Central Park West, where that circle is up there. Kind of looks like Paris, right at the tip of Central Park. Anyway, we were challenged to develop a residential real estate sales office of the future. This is a 35-foot tall, curved video wall, like a theater, okay? And with that, we're projecting onto the screen, telling the story of the neighborhood. Now you can see just by the people standing there. This is a touch table, so that touch table shows the same content as it does on the screen, so you have the ability to either show the client on the touch table, on the wall, or both concurrently, and all the amenities, all the floor plans, you can walk the whole building.
And the neighborhood.
You tell the story about the architect, you tell the story about the development. I mean, literally every piece of content. And this movie here is basically introduces you to your retailers. Yeah. Shows you all the restaurants in the neighborhood. And it's so impactful, it's so powerful. And the client can sit there and scroll and touch and do and actually affect the sales process. And of course, a good broker will sit there and interact with them and, you know, show them what they need to see or what they want to sell them, you know, using that touch table. So
This is just a great way to get people interested, not just in the specific unit or the specific building or the amenities, but it really tells a compelling story about the entire neighborhood, what's there. There's a Meet the Retailers feature where each of them come on and kind of give a little intro about what they've done and how long they've been in the neighborhood. It's just and again, if I don't know if you saw it at the beginning, but if you looked at, there were people sitting in front of this curved projection wall. The size of these images are massive. They tell a great story. Again, we find that using these oversized images works really well. Go ahead.
So in conclusion, real estate digital signage solutions with great contents expedite and enhance the selling process while elevating your brand that you can repurpose across all marketing platforms. In an era where people prefer not to have to read, big, bright digital displays convey an underlying sophistication in a way your customer prefers to shop. Whoop. Okay. Digital signage designed in an elevated style serves to modernize your office. And people skills will always be a central part of success, but the ability to organize and present information in a user-friendly way has never been more available and more important.
So bottom line is, as you start to develop different types of presentations, the ability to reach different types of people in a situation, think about how technology can best serve your needs. And as you think about it, always remember that the assets, the content, the creative elements that you're using are probably the most important piece of the puzzle. So, yes.
Are you guys involved in the content or just the digitization?
We're involved in content. Our approach was relatively unique. We found that we were able to kind of differentiate ourselves by offering up the content piece. We did not start in content. We started in the print end of it. We got involved in digital signage, just putting monitors and projection systems into space. We started working with the software integration. We then started helping write applications for our clients and doing these types of projects. We handle the entire installation, all the service, so if something goes down, something goes awry. But right after our first installation was at the Hudson Hotel on 9th Avenue. And right after we installed it, the Morgan Hotel Group came to us and said, we need stuff to put up. And I said, well, we can do that. And so we ended up, at first, doling this out to freelance designers. We then hired full-time design folks. We then took in full-time art direction. We have in-house videographers, and we really offer everything from concept and inspiration of how to execute a specific property to all the way out to servicing everything after it's been installed. So
Cool.
We were challenged to be able to turn 6 windows at Bloomingdale's into an interactive touch experience. It was for Father's Day, so you would go up to the window, you'd actually touch, you could select a shirt, you could touch and select a tie, and you could then watch the tie animate around the shirt. And then we developed a situation, an e-commerce situation. This was the quote from Tony Spring. He says, give me something exciting. Make them touch my windows. I want theater. I said, okay, Tone, whatever you want. So this is what the 6 windows look like. We did it was done through some projection. Some of it was flat screen monitors.
Let me explain that a little bit. So in the back of the window, you had 9 monitors that was playing Ralph Lauren lifestyle content, the Polo player. And then from the back of the window onto a film on the glass was a projector, a very high lumens projector, a laser projector actually. And it enabled you to see on the glass the actual animation that Eddie was referring to. And then on the outside of the window was like a swatch where you picked your shirt color.
You're going to see it right now
you
when
picked
it
your
comes
tie
up.
color, and then it animated in front of you.
So this is just for shirts. This is for polo shirts. You would go up to the window. You'd select. You
On
could see your
Lexington
shirt. Yeah. This was all. It brought window shopping to the whole next level.
Yes.
On the same note, did you do the same for buildings, like the customers can change the layouts and furniture or whatever?
The one that we just showed you from Circa, which was the one with the screen, completely interactive. The customer sits there in front of a table and is able to scroll, to touch, and to either project or to look on the table, anything within the building, all the amenities. You want to see the different bathrooms, different kitchens, the different living rooms, your floor plan, the bike room, the laundry room, whatever.
Yeah.
Lead time to make something. Well, this project, you know, what we tend to do at our company is we try to push things. So we use a lot, you know, there's cutting edge and then there's bleeding edge, right? We try to do, because we're Panasonic, we have access to a lot of technology that is not even available yet. You know, I just saw the other day, and I'm just going to get you excited. I just saw the other day a touchscreen hologram. So you know Michael Jackson, you know, he's not with us anymore, but you could see him perform. Imagine this. You go up to a window, and in space is a touchscreen, living in space. It's not physical. And you're hitting it, and you're interacting with the window. And you're saying blue, and it turns blue. And it's just in the window. Another thing, sound, okay? We're working with Graceland, you know Elvis Presley's home? We're doing all the technology. They're actually redoing it for the first time since its inception, and we're taking them into the 21st century, which is difficult because it's locked in 1977,
right,
if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so they have this situation where right now it's an iPad and you go through and it's very insular and you're just staying inside yourself. There's no, like you don't feel Elvis rocking out wherever you go. It's just like watching this thing on your iPad, right? So Panasonic now has a speaker where it's right above your head, and when you're here, you hear what's coming from the window, but you step here, silence.
Right.
Okay?
Directional speakers.
So what we do is, you know, when you say how fast, if you give us a deadline, we're going to respond in kind. You know, we're not going to serve you up something that's going to take a year if you need it in a month.
But to answer your question directly, like the CBRE project was probably about a 12-week lead time. This project for Artemis was maybe a little longer. The project for Ralph Lauren Polo was probably 7 or 8 weeks. You know, depending on what your timelines are, we can kind of customize and pull things out that, you know, obviously won't be able to be hidden within that timeline. But having more time than less is always advantageous.
Do clients purchase the components or do they lease them?
They have a choice to do either. So a lot of our clients do purchase. The CBRE example, they utilized the 685 third for about probably 7 or 8 months. And then after it was about 85 or 90% leased, they then repurposed those screens at another location. So they purchased them. Oh, you can repurpose them as you go. We have the Polo example we just showed was all rental. It was just for window display. It was, you know,
2
more
weeks.
temporary. Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah. But that said, you know, we're doing the windows for Perry Ellis for Macy's.
Yeah.
And when we saw their content, we noticed that they had tons of props, right? So we said to them, what if we took this surfboard, okay, and we put video screens in it? Now, why did I say that? Because I know somebody who does that, okay? And I saw it at a show, and I was like, it like took me a year till I found somebody that.
If you go to Macy's this
but
weekend,
I look
it's
like
being
a hero.
installed
It's
not
being,
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
It's being
Wednesday.
installed
on 7th
that's
Avenue.
tomorrow.
Wednesday. It's tomorrow. Today's
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
It's being installed tomorrow, Thursday. So if you go,
we never
it'll
know
be
what
up for
time it
3
is
weeks.
in our business, like yours, because you guys work 7 days. So do we.
If you are by Macy's Herald Square and you go by the Perry Ellis windows, you'll see some really specific examples of how people are utilizing custom content to really tell a great message, and they're using technology kind of in the background to be able to execute.
But it's not just custom content, it's also custom installations.
Yes.
Everything we do is custom. So when I meet you and you're telling me about your company, we're going to do something that looks like nobody else. You know, and that's the great thing about it. You know, you can really look like yourself and do new things and that are within your voice.
Has everyone here seen that Magic card that was passed around? It was that little video. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Just pass them around. You know, that's an example of technology and print. Really simple. You open it up. There's some of them. There's no buttons. You just open it. It's kind of in your face. Again, we do it.
It's
yes.
another,
Was
yeah.
50 West Street one of your projects?
Which address?
50 West Street?
No.
Is that like on Canal?
No, that's on West Street.
No.
It's
We
not
did
on
do
Canal,
50
like on the
West.
corner of Canal? Oh, no. Can't take the credit for that one. Sorry.
Exactly from the presentation that you showed.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
The curved screen?
Curved screen, the touch, control things.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, the point is that there are other people in the space, obviously, but as Panasonic, no one can really touch us as far as technology goes. So we're unique in that we're actually producing the
You
technology.
can just close it. It stops when you close it.
We're actually, you come to, when you work with us, you come out to our facility in Harrison, New Jersey, which is next to Newark, and you get to meet the engineers who actually designed the technology, and we do custom things for people, custom solutions, and it becomes your own.
I think we did already. Is one of our company's
Oh,
products.
yeah?
Good.
There you go.
Town.
Oh, you
exactly.
work with Town. Okay,
exactly.
sure.
So we
Yes.
What have you guys done in Times Square?
Glad you asked. Are you
Thank
familiar
you for
with the
reminding
NASDAQ
us.
board?
Yeah.
The NASDAQ, and then across the street is Thomson Reuters. Thomson Reuters is actually 7 screens together, piled on top of one another. NASDAQ is that curved screen. Now, you want to hear something cool? We just replaced the whole NASDAQ sign
Yeah.
without ever shutting it off. So we have a NOC, which is a
Network
location
Operations Center.
that's located right there where we actually maintain the signs. All the advertising that you see that runs through it, that's another organization that we affiliate with. And we have a schedule, and we run the commercials through those signs. But anyway, the NASDAQ sign could not come down, but it had to be fixed. And we replaced all those tiles as the sign ran, which was very cool.
We're
So those
also
are two-
we're working with a hotel. I can't disclose hopefully next week, but we're working with a hotel to redo their marquee as well in Times Square. A lot of the, here we're showing a lot of things for presentation. We do a lot of what I'll refer to as advertising boards in these spaces. A lot of landlords today want to maximize their space, not just by selling the real estate, but by selling advertising either on the building or within the building. So we're involved with a lot of those projects. They're executed when you do them outdoor. Typically they're done with LED, which is most of what Times Square is. When they do them internally, they're typically executed with LCD, although that's changing
Let
today.
me just explain what that means, okay? LCD is
Like a flat panel.
it's like your TV in your house,
Right.
and then LED is a light-emitting diode, and they come in different spaces, and the ones that are very close pitch are the sharpest, and the ones that you can actually get the closest to, the ones with the biggest pitch, you have to look farther back for it to be in focus. But LED has come a long way, and it's catching up to LCD.
How did the hotel downtown use your application inside?
You talking about the one that we did uptown?
Yeah.
Oh, the Morgan, that's on
That's
9th
on the Upper
Avenue.
West
Okay.
Side.
So basically, the way they utilized the technology, this was 18 projectors that were installed into the ceiling, and they actually ran in tandem with one another, and it was for entertainment purposes. It was in their, it was called Hudson Hall, and that was their brand new bar restaurant they opened. It was a little disappointing in terms of what they ended up using these screens for at the end.
News, right?
Cartoons at breakfast.
Cartoons at
okay.
breakfast.
They
It's their
were,
screen.
yeah. They used, and they did let people that took the venue over for special events. They would be able to do custom presentations and things like that. But it was originally supposed to be high-end content being shown, at dinner and project.
Yeah.
Project onto these. It was if you go to our website, you'll see it. It was actually edge blended and mapped, so each element would be projected into a separate box. Came out really cool. I mean, the technology was amazing. This was before we really understood how important content was, and it wasn't as impactful as we would have liked to have been, and a lot of it had to do with the assets that were used.
Yeah. But the key for this is to really get the customer, your customer, to get involved in the process. Instead of you just talking at them all the time, it's actually where they're interacting with the experience. And by the way, I know you all can relate to this. Younger people today who are controlling the world, as far as I'm concerned, they never leave their room. I don't know, you all have kids. They talk to their boyfriend on their computer. They watch TV on their computer. They shop on their computer. And they're always in bed, So, I mean, let's call a spade a spade,
One of the things that we were also working towards.
Let me just
Go
finish.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that what we want to do is we want to talk to them on their level. If we're going to talk to them on our level and say, no, you're going to read, well, guess what? It's not going to happen because people want to watch video. That's what they want to do. That's what people relate to now. So what this enables you to do is to kind of get them in the mode of what they're used to in their comfort zone, instead of trying to make them into how you live. You know what I mean?
One last thing I want to add is mobile, okay? Everybody today, every industry today is trying to figure out how to utilize mobile in their presentations, in their marketing. How do people do a better job? I'm looking around, most of you have your mobile device out. It's an extension of your hand, and the younger you are, the more of an extension of your hand it becomes. So we are working with our clients, so when you look at a particular presentation, how great would it be to kind of be able to take that with you, share it? One of the things with the Bloomingdale's example that we did is they wanted it to be e-commerce. Everybody, it was really nice to be able to highlight the Polo brand, but it was all about the transaction. How many more transactions can we get out of, either in my physical brick and mortar space or online? So we knew no one would put their credit card information on the front window at Bloomingdale's, so we developed a text-in order method. So if you liked something, you picked a shirt, you picked a tie, you could see all your combinations. If you wanted to buy it, you could actually text your order in and either go to the counter where it was available for pickup or have it shipped to your home. If you went to the counter where it was shipped, if you went to the counter where you could pick it up, you turn your phone over to Google Maps, and Google Maps would guide you exactly to where your product could be picked up.
Also, analytics, okay, which is very important. So if you're going to spend all this money on these installations, you want to know things like, for example, you can now tell how long somebody dwells, okay, how much time they spend with that window. We have a projection system where we project on glass where you can tell where the customer's eyes are looking, okay, how much time are they spending on the different pieces of content, what is resonating. We can tell you generally what their age is and generally what their sex is. We can, which is very important, in assessing. And we were able to tell Ralph Lauren which of the windows and yielded the most results, which product, which color did they go to the most. So there was analytics at the end of it all that they then could use to assess their investment.
Right. A lot of people are getting into analytics today. It's come a long, long way. It's inexpensive. It's a simple camera technology involved with software that Panasonic's developed. And this age and gender recognition stuff is becoming more and more relevant as we walk down the road.
And also for retailers, for example, we have a heat-seeking analytics tool. So we can tell a retailer can actually assess where the traffic is in their store and what department is getting the most traffic. And they can make their merchandising decisions based on that, which is phenomenal. It's so useful, We did for MGM hotels a kiosk. So you walk into, and this is for Vegas, okay? So you walk into the hotel, and there's a huge kiosk, and all of the restaurants are on that kiosk all across. And each one tells you what the wait time is to get in.
And how far it takes you to get from where you're standing to get to that restaurant.
Exactly.
If you're walking through the lobby of the hotel.
So the key is to use this technology to get a result. You know what I mean? And it should be utilitarian and and easy to use, but it also should be useful.
Okay. Any other questions as we wrap up?
Thank you.
Great. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Well, I'll leave cards up front or wherever. Our website's on here, and you can. There you go. Thank you.